My name is Beth Saunders, and I am a Jesus follower.
Welcome to The Jesus Follower. I'm excited about this study that we'll do together as we learn what it means to be a Jesus follower. And with any study, we kind of start with a definition of what we're talking about. And so for our study over the next 9 weeks, we've defined a Jesus follower as someone who loves God and loves others by abiding in relationship with Jesus and through the Holy Spirit imitating His life and His mission. Each week we'll take a look at part of that definition. We're going to unpack it, and in the unpacking we're going to describe, but we're going to talk about what it looks like and have some application as we take away each week. And what I love is as we finish up this study together, we'll have an opportunity to dream together, to talk together about what it looks like to live as a Jesus follower in our community right here. And so I'm excited about this study. I hope you are too. And I look forward to it. We'll see you next week.
So I don't think there's ever been a time in my life that I can remember that I didn't know about Jesus. I was raised in a strong Christian home, and I was baptized when I was 9. I even remember when my sister and I were little, that my grandma would reward us with like warm jelly biscuits if we could recite our memory verses before we headed off to vacation Bible school. But I think probably the purest example in my family of a true Jesus follower was my mother. She was the kindest, most compassionate woman, and she derived her joy in life from helping others, encouraging them and listening to them. And I just remember always being in such awe of her. I have twice in like the last 10 years done this great study called Not a Fan. And so it's kind of the exploration of the difference between people who are fans of Jesus and people who are followers of Jesus. And I think a lot of my younger life was spent being just a fan of Jesus. You know, I would say the right things and I would show up at church, but I wasn't that follower. So my mother died of a brain tumor when I was in my 30s. And that was just a really hard time for me, especially the last weeks of her life. And I remember during those last weeks, I just stopped asking the why question. And I started asking the what and the how questions. So what can I take from this that I could use to help others? I could help myself. I could help my faith. And how could I take what experience I was experiencing, what journey I was on, to draw closer to God? And I think that was the pivotal moment in my life when I decided that I was going to walk away from the fandom of Christianity, and I was going to move into being a true follower of Christ. He changed me during that time. I changed. And it's not lost on me that perhaps the woman, my mother, who was always the shining example to me of a true Jesus follower, may have been used to help me also in my adult life become a Jesus follower. So I'm going to answer that question like this. My neighbor has a tree. It's called a Japanese magnolia, I think. And it blooms once a year, just for 3 short weeks. And it produces this purple flower that gives off this fragrance like nothing else I have ever smelled. And you can cut the flower off and you can put it in a bowl of water. And the aroma just permeates your house. So I say all this to say that I always thought Jesus smelled like that flower. I think he smells like that flower and sugar cookies. But I think it is, when I think about the fragrance of that flower, it is like following Jesus. It is like nothing else I have ever experienced. And it is intoxicatingly sweet. And I think because I'm a Jesus follower, I have peace in the midst of turmoil. And I have calm in the midst of chaos. And I have joy, even at the saddest times of my life. So living a life with Jesus goes something like this for me. I say to him, I'm not worthy. And he says to me, you're enough. And I say to him, I don't deserve all the things that you give me. And he says to me, why don't you just take some of this grace that I'm offering you? And I say to him, day after day after day, I fall short of doing the right thing. And he says to me, I love you no matter what. And that is how I move through this thing called life. And I do it with contentment and confidence. And I know that I am loved.